Alrighty, welcome everybody. It's Tuesday night and it is time to have some fun and learn a couple of techniques tonight. For those of you that are new to my Facebook page, my name is Julie Brown. I am a independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator and welcome. So you're either watching this live on Facebook or you're watching the replay on YouTube. Either way, welcome. Also, please make sure that you type in comments. Type in your name, let me know you're here. Even if you're watching the replay, I will see those comments later. So anyway, I want to welcome everybody out and let's take care of a few what I call housekeeping items, and then we will get started on our two cards that we're going to be doing tonight. So first off, the hostess code for March is right there, and you can order. Hey Shanine! You can order at juliebrown.stampinup.net. If you need to contact me, you can contact me through my email, which is juliescreativestampin@gmail.com. And then my Pinterest, Facebook, and Instagram pages are Julie's Creative Stamping. And then to get to my YouTube channel, you have to actually put my name in, Julie Brown, and then a dot, and then Julie's Creative Stamping. Also, if you check out my blog at stampinjuliebrown.blogspot.com, that is where sometimes I will show you other cards that I don't end up doing videos on, but all of the cards, whether I do a video or not, will be on my blog with step-by-step instructions. So, yay! Unless I'm doing like a special like I'm doing with this particular suite that I will be talking about tonight. So let's talk about what we're going to be using tonight. So tonight, we have an early release that just became available today, and it is called the Waves of Ocean Collection. It is going to be available March 1st through May 2nd. And so you'll see all the numbers listed there. So the Waves of the Ocean Collection is going to include everything that I'm fixing to show you. Then if you want to buy it all separately, you can buy the Waves of Inspiration bundle, which includes the Waves of Inspiration stamp set and the wave dies with what are listed right underneath it. But if you want the bundle, you want to use that bundle number. And then there's the Waves of the Ocean Designer Series paper. DSP stands for Designer Series paper. And then there's Blue Foils specialty paper, and then the Rhinestone Waves Basic Jewels. So let's take a look at what all of this is. So here we go. The only thing I don't have sitting here is the foils, so I'm going to bring those in and show those to you. So you get two of each. Look at these, aren't they beautiful? So you get two of each of these foils, and I believe this is Coastal Cabana, Night of Navy, and then this is like a gray right there. So those are fun. And then these are the Rhinestone Jewels, which again, pretty. Anything shiny, right, is beautiful. And then this is the stamp set, and this is the die. And then it has all of this beautiful paper. And there's only a little bit of this one because I've used this paper a couple of times. But anyway, this is all the paper. This is like one side, the next side, one side, the next side, that comes with this particular early release. So this is a really fun release. So let's talk about the dies. So there is this die that will cut this out. And then these label dies, so like the Happy Birthday will fit into that one. And then both the Your Strength is an Inspiration and You're So Totally Awesome will fit in this one. And then we have clouds, we have birds, more birds, or no, those aren't birds. Hold on. I haven't cut that one out, so I'm not sure. Oh, that's just little waves, more waves. And then we've got two of these big waves. So lots of fun stuff. Now, the reason I decided to do this one this month is because I had a lot of people a lot of my demonstrators, because we got to buy this early, and I had a lot of my demonstrators saying, I really don't know, what I would do with this set. So I thought I would show you guys some great ideas. Now, this is going to be, I told you guys I'm starting a new thing. And that is, I'm going to be doing a suite of the month. And if you order that suite, you are going to get a special PDF with 10 cards that I do not post anywhere else using this set. So if you do order that suite this month from me, then you will have access to that PDF, which will help you to make cards. Now, understanding that sometimes I do bring in other sets along with it, but in the PDF, I try really hard to just use the set, because sometimes that's all you have. If this is like your first purchase, that might be the only thing that you have. So let's get started. All right, here we go. So for this first card, I did a lot of the cutting ahead of time, but I'm going to be using the Stamparatus for this. And we're going to be doing blending tonight. So we're going to be using blending brushes, and we're going to be using daubers. So I'm going to show you two different ways to blend tonight so that you can learn those two different ways of doing this. So as you can see, I've already got my paper in here, and then this is the stamp. And I'm just going to put the stamp set underneath this just to make it, let me move it this way so you can see what I'm doing, just to make it a little easier to ink it up. Now I'm going to pull in, hold on, I've got to move a couple things here. I am going to pull in my Pacific Point ink, and we're just going to ink this up. Now, one of the things that you can do with this is you can come in with a dauber and you can add different colors. So like I could ink it up with this, then I could come in with a dauber and add some other colors. I am not doing that tonight, but I just wanted to give you that idea. Trying to see, I'm not sure if this is real straight. I hope it is. Okay, so then we're just gonna lay that down and pick it up, and then we have our beautiful wave. Isn't that pretty? It's so, so pretty. All right, let me just bring in my chamois, and we're gonna clean this up. And I think that's the chamois that I didn't want to use. I had this one sitting to the side because this is the one that I've been using all day long, and it needs to be rinsed off. Yeah, here's the one I need. And this one is the rinsed off one, so I can clean up the stamp. Alrighty. So now we're gonna make a mess, and we're gonna do some blending. And you can do this without the Stamparatus. I just like using the Stamparatus because if I don't get a good image, I can restamp it. Now this does take our largest block, which is this one here, and it's block F. So it's this big one that you need for that particular stamp, or the Stamparatus, either one. All right, so let's pull this off. Let's close that. And so a lot of this stuff I did do ahead of time, just so you didn't have to watch me do this the whole time. But what I did is I actually stamped this on a Post-it note. Or I didn't put it on a Post-it note because I was out of my long Post-it notes. So I used some repositional tape on the back of mine so that I could get this secured down here. And so what I'm going to do is I am just going to cover, and it's this center part. Hey, Susie. So again, I picked this suite of the month because everyone was, and especially my demonstrators were like, we're not quite sure what we would do with this. Oops, I got ink right there, but that's okay because I'm going to be covering it. Okay, so the first color that I'm going to bring in is I'm going to do this bottom section down here. And so I am going to bring in some Crumb Cake. And like I said, for this card, we are actually using blending brushes. And so I'm just going to ink this up. Now the trick to the blending brushes is to start off of your sheet and then roll up onto the sheet. So what I mean by that is I'm going to start down here and then I'm going to move up onto the paper. And the reason that you want to do that is because if you don't, a lot of times you're just going to get this really stark image on your paper, and it's not going to look very blended. So it's really important to start off that page. And I'm just going to turn this just so I can get a better view of it. So again, we're just going to be coming in. And the nice thing about blending is you can make this as dark or as light as you want it. So we're going to go to that point, and then I'm going to just kind of lift and make sure I've got that covered, and it looks like I've got it covered. All right. So now what I'm going to do is we're going to work on the top, which is going to be like a sunset. And so I always kind of start with my lightest color. And so we're going to start with Daffodil Delight. And again, we're going to grab the blending brush. Now, the nice thing about these blending brushes, if you've never used them, is when I'm done with these tonight, I can rinse them off, and then they're ready to use on any other color. Now, what I try to do is I have like one for yellows, one for oranges, one for pink, one for green. You know, I kind of do, and one for the neutrals. But I could use blue on this if I wanted to, but I just chose not to. Okay, so again, I'm going to come in from over here, and we're going to pick that up right there. And we're just going to bring this yellow in. And this is Daffodil Delight. And unfortunately, it's blending in some of that. I smeared some of that Pacific Point, but I think it'll be okay. But it is smearing some of it. And so I'm going to set that to the side. Then I'm going to bring in Pumpkin Pie and bring in my blending brush for this. And the way I do it is I kind of go through and I put my first section down. So I'm going to come through and I'm going to get this Pumpkin Pie on here. Whoops. That's kind of moving. Actually, it's moving a lot. So I kind of get my first level on, and then if I want to darken it, I go back and do that. So now I'm going to come in with Calypso Coral. And again, we're just going to come in the top there. And this is where once you start getting your blending going, then you can decide, like, do I want to bring in some more Pumpkin Pie? Do I like the Calypso Coral, darker up here? And so that's kind of the fun, to me, that's the fun thing about blending, is it allows you to just kind of make it your own. So I think I want to bring in a little bit more Pumpkin Pie down here. So we're going to go back to the Pumpkin Pie. And we're going to blend a little bit more of that into this Daffodil Delight down here. And into the Calypso Coral up there. And I think I might want a little bit of that to show right there in that middle section as well. There we go. All right, I think that's probably good for now. So we're going to pull that off, and this is what it looks like so far. Pretty, huh? All right, so now I need to move these colors out of the way so that I don't make a hot mess of everything. And now what I'm going to do is, again, I pre-cut some shields for the top and the bottom, because now I'm going to bring in another color up here. So again, this just has some repositionable tape on the back of it. And you want to make sure you line this up so that just a tad bit of that crumb cake is showing, and the same thing on the top. So like when I bring this in, I don't want to be like right down on that. I want it to actually blend up in there a little bit, but not all the way. Okay, so now, sorry, let me put these back so I don't get these all messed up or accidentally put my elbow in one of these. And so now I'm going to bring in the Coastal Cabana, and I'm just going to put a little bit of color onto this, the Pacific Point that I stamped. So same concept, right? So I'm going to start off, and then I'm just going to come on, and I'm being extremely light-handed here. Okay, I'm not pushing really hard at all. So I'm tapping, and then I'm very lightly coming in with this Coastal Cabana. Whoops. This isn't holding too good. This one was a little bit harder to get to hold down. Let me just get that positioned right. Plus, I think I've had it sitting out, and I think my glue on the other side is it's not being very sticky. But do you see how, so when I looked at it, I saw that I didn't quite have any on this area here. And then another little area that tends to not get covered is this area down here. And so I'm going to come in just really light and just pick up a little color right there. Okay? And so then when we're done, it looks like that. So see how you can add more color to this by just bringing in your blending brushes and blending that together. All right, so one of the things that I want to do now is I am going to use a stamp from, it is the Paradise Palms. This is one of the new ones in the mini catalog, and I'm using this stamp right here because I wanted to give this bottom a little bit of dimension as far as like different shadings and stuff. So I'm basically just going to come in, ink that up, and then we're just going to stamp, ink it up again, stamp, stamp, and even kind of go up into the, I'm just trying to put some, like, it looks like the sand is like moving and stuff. Not really moving, but just shaded, like parts of it got wet. I guess that's a better way to say that. All right. Okay, so this next technique, you can use it with your water painters, but I actually have learned how to use it with my blends, and it takes a little bit more like hitting. But basically what I want to do is see how this has like little dots in it where I stamped it. And I want that same look down here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to tap. And this is Crumb Cake. And this takes a little bit to get this going. And it's the brush tip end that I'm doing this with. Now you can do this with your painter. Oops, I got some up there. I didn't mean to do that. I need to get down here a little lower. A water painter works with this as well. And I'm not trying to get it on there real heavy, just a little bit. So let me bring that close to see if, can you see that? Where the little dots got on there? So that's just another fun little technique that I like to do. Okay, so then what I'm going to do is I pre-cut one of those dies, and this is that foil, and I pre-cut this, and of course I did put the adhesive strip on the back. So now I'm just going to take off the adhesive strip, and because our adhesive strip kind of comes in two pieces, meaning that it kind of when you see them, they come in like strips. So it's not like one full sheet. So you have to make sure that you're kind of paying attention to what parts have pulled off on the back. Yep, I think that's all sticky. Okay, that's all sticky. Okay, so and then what we're going to do is we're going to take this and we're going to set this over the top, and I'm going to line this up right at that edge where these two meet. And then just lay it down because it's got that adhesive on the back. This is such a fun die. It's so pretty, but see how pretty that looks when you put that on the top? Isn't that pretty? Okay, then I'm just going to take my snips and turn this over, and we're just going to snip that off like so. Okay, and again, you know, those adhesive strips are like a lifesaver for this. Okay, so I'm ready to build part of my card front. So let's go to that point. So my card base is going to be Pacific Point. I'm having a hard time saying that tonight. Pacific Point. It's kind of like when you were a kid and you said specific. You put an S in front of it. And then this is some of that really pretty designer series paper. And we're using this side. And so I'm just going to adhere that to the card front. Alrighty. So this is going to go right here. If I can get it straight. It's like, you know, I'm really good at getting this straight until the camera's on. And then it's like, why do I struggle so much when the camera's on? All right. This is driving me crazy. Let's try this again. I think if I get this side first, then there we go. So that's going to go there. And then this piece is going to go on top of that piece. Like so. Now I got the basic idea for this card from Laura Scott. She did a version of this. And so I changed it up a little bit. Actually, quite a bit. And understand, you're probably going to see a lot of the same type of things with this die set and stamp set, because it is about the ocean. And so you're probably going to see a lot of ocean scenes and things like that. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to stamp my sentiment, and I'm going to use the Your Strength is an Inspiration. And we're going to come in with Pacific Point. Maybe that's why I don't use this very much, because I can't say it very well, right? All right, let me just move this down. And I'm going to get it straight here. All right, and hopefully I'm getting this on here straight. And we're just going to stamp that right there. And then I'm going to come in, because this stamp set has a really cool like pelican on top of some wood post. And so we're going to come in and I'm going to stamp that. Now these are what they call distinctive stamps, which means it puts the shading. Whoops, I don't know why I'm opening that. I already have it on a block over here. This distinctive stamp means that it has natural shading to it. And it makes it look really cool because it has that shading. So I'm going to use my Crumb Cake again. And we're just going to ink this up. And I'm going to ink this up really good because I want this to be pretty dark. And then I'm just going to stamp this on here because I'm going to be cutting it out. So there's my pelican. Like, there you go. And I'm wondering if You know what? I think I'm going to do soft suede. Let me try soft suede and see what that looks like. I change my mind all the time. But I'm thinking that the crumb cake is too close to what I did with the sand down here. So let me just try it with soft suede and I will decide which one I like. Isn't it nice we have two sides of paper, right? All right, let's see. Oh, I think I like that better. So we're going to use soft suede because you can see it much better. You guys are quiet tonight. Alrighty, so let's bring in our little mini Stampin' Cut machine because I did all the big cutting before, so I can just bring this one in. And we're just going to grab that, grab our little die cut to cut out our pelican. And then I'm going to use just a little bit of a Post-it note to hold it in place. And then we're just going to send this through like so. There we go. Alrighty, and then we're going to pull this off carefully. Put the die back where it goes so I don't lose it. So many things to keep track of, right? Alrighty. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this in and I'm going to actually pop this up. But because this is kind of already like raised, I'm going to kind of measure and see where I need my dimensionals. And it looks like I can put 2 here and then the rest kind of above where those lines are right there. So we're going to use some mini dimensionals this time. And like I said, we're going to stick a couple right here. And then I can see the curve of where the ropes are. And so I'm just going to go just above that. And then probably I need one of these that I've cut in half for its head. And so then we're going to pull this off. Hopefully you guys are not too bored watching me pull all these papers off of our dimensionals. And then we're just going to set this pelican and it's just going to line up right with this right side. And he is going to go a little bit into like the designer series paper back there. So he's going to pop up like so. And then I'm going to bring in the jewels. And we are going to use it's like the Coastal Cabana color here. And I'm just going to pick up, I'm just going to do 1, 2, 3. So we'll just put the 3 jewels like so. So that's the front of the card. What do you guys think? Isn't it cute? How fun is this set? And then let's do the inside. And so for the inside, I am actually going to have to take my stamp off of my Stamparatus and put it on my big block because I want to stamp this in this lower corner down here. And so again, I'm going to ink this up with the Pacific Point. And I'm just doing this section over here because that's the section that I'm going to be stamping. And I want this kind of at an angle. So I want like that in that corner. Just like that. So it looks like that in the corner. Yeah, the blue background paper. Yeah, all of this paper is kind of really too pretty to cover. So that is kind of a problem. But and another thing you could have done, and I've showed you guys this a million times, is I could have cut out the center of that paper and just like use the stitched rectangle dies and cut out a frame. And then that, so like that all I had was like a little frame, and then this whole center section, I would have that paper to use on something else. All right, so now we're gonna come in with Pacific Point again. And we're going to bring in, so the front said, your strength is an inspiration. And the inside is going to say, you're totally awesome. All right, if I can get this one straight. Ah! Okay, so I didn't get the A, but I'm going to show you a little trick. Dun, da, da. You can come in with your Stampin' Right marker, if you ever do this, and just draw in that A. Like so. And then it's all fixed. Look at that. So everyone always asks me, do you need both the blends and the markers? And yes, you do. Because there are some things that you use markers on and some things that we use blends on. So there you go. And the markers are great for when you do what I just did, and not stamp it exactly perfect. And, you know, or you can just be smart. And if you have a Stamparatus, just use your Stamparatus every time that you're doing that. All right. So this is going to go in here like so. And then we are done with the first card. What do you guys think? So pretty, right? All right, card 1 done. Okay, so now for card 2, let me bring in, sorry, I've got to grab my, I put up my, you guys know I have my daubers all in this fun little dauber thing. All right, so for card 2, the first thing that we're going to do is I have already cut out, I use the layering circle dies, and I have already cut out a circle. And I'm going to bring in a Post-it note. And I'm not going to put it exactly halfway, so I'm kind of using my grid to kind of center this. But I'm going to go maybe like, oh, is that big? Is that enough? Let me think. Maybe up to this line. And I'm just going to lay this down. Sorry, I'm trying to get this straight. Like so. And then I pre-cut with a 3/4 inch punch. I pre-cut this little circle so that I can cover, and this is going to be like a sun or moon or whatever you want. And now I'm going to come in with my dauber. And this one, this idea came from, now she did this on just a white card front, and I added a bunch of other stuff to it. But this whole section right here, she showed us how to do all of this, and it's way cool. All right, so we're going to bring in our dauber, bring in pumpkin pie, and we're going to ink up this dauber. And then again, we're going to kind of start off, and then we're kind of forming a line right here. And I'm kind of moving in a circular motion, but I want this line to be real stark here. And then I'm going to start like coming in on the corners up here, or around the circle. So we're going around the circle, and we're going to kind of go, this is kind of coming up. I'm going to go around this little circle that I have here. And then I'm just going to kind of bring in some streaks like so. But this part is the part you want really dark. Then I'm just going to pull this up. Oh gosh, I think I did get it exactly halfway. And I'm going to turn it over, but I want it so that I can see some of that line that I just did. And we're going to do the same thing here. So we're just going to ink this up. And we're just going to kind of draw that line that way. Okay. Now I want to leave this center open because we're going to bring in what looks like water shimmering in the sunlight. All right. So I'm doing this really fast. So see how, ta-da! And that's really, really messy. And I'm going to actually try to smooth this out a little bit. All right. So that's how we use the blending with the daubers instead of the blending brushes. Then what we're going to do is we're going to bring in a white gel pen. And we are going to like make little lines here, little squiggly lines. Oh, you know what? I needed to do something else first. Oops. I needed to stamp my penguin or I forgot to, I knew I was forgetting something. So I'm going to come in with black Memento ink and we're going to stamp this little dude here. But he's not going to be all the way on this page. He's basically going to be just like this. Okay, so he's on there like that. And then what we're going to do is we're actually going to, now the first time I did this, I colored it in with the Stampin' Blends. And I wasn't real happy with the way that it looked. And so this time I'm going to try the basic gray Stampin' Right marker. And we're going to see if I like this a little better. Because I want to be able to kind of see this definition here. And what happened with the blend is it actually like bled really bad. But I want this to look like a silhouette. You know, kind of like it's getting dark and you're basically just kind of seeing the silhouette of this pelican on this sitting here. And so this is not getting quite as dark as I would like, but I am liking, I think, this a little bit better than the blends because, like I said, because we're using like the cardstock and it's the Daffodil Delight cardstock, the blends tend to bleed a little bit more. And I wasn't happy with the way it did that. So again, I'm just kind of coming in and I'm just working slowly here, especially on this end down here. And I'm not going to mess with his little legs because I want it to look like the sunset's coming through, like you can see it, you know, on where his legs are. But I am going to get some good color here. So see how I just keep going until it just gets darker and darker, until it's the shade that I want. But I'm liking that it's not bleeding past like the blends did earlier. Okay, because I'm wanting this like silhouette. So if, like I said, if you wanted this to be darker, because a silhouette is actually like very dark, right? But again, I just wasn't happy with the blends. I thought this was a cleaner look. Okay, so now I'm going to come back and we're just going to do these little marks with this gel pen. And I'll bring that closer so you can see what that did. So see those right there. And then I'm going to come in with my Wink of Stella. that I put away. Make sure this is clear. And then we're just going to color in this circle here with the Wink of Stella. And make that so it's nice and shiny. And hopefully I've let my gel pen dry. And then I'm just kind of gonna go over the where I put that. So let's see if I can get this to, can you see the sparkle? Yeah, there you go. So then it's all sparkly. Yay! Right? Okay, so now to finish up this card. Now I did make a little bit of a, I don't know what I did. I somehow got a piece of black right there. And I wasn't going to put any of the birds in here, but now that I did that, I probably will. Let me see if I think I can cover that with a bird. Yeah, so I might go ahead and put a couple birds because I messed up. Again, that's why sometimes that's why we have these little stamp sets. So let's see if I can. Yep, that worked. There. So I just kind of stamped off, and then that just kind of put those birds on there. Alrighty. I didn't quite cover that line, but it's about as good as it was going to get without going into the pelican. Alrighty, so now I'm going to bring in the rest of this card. Again, a lot of this was cut out. And so we're going to start building on this first. And so this is, again, one of the designer series paper. And I have cut another one of these ocean waves. And I used the pearl, oh, what's it called? The, oh, shoot. I can't think of the name of it off the top of my mother of pearl specialty paper. All right. And this is going to go down here like so. And so again, I put the adhesive strips on the back. I think it's kind of a must with this one, you know. I really think that, I mean, you could do it, but it would be, you'd have to be putting glue in a lot of different little places here. So I think it's to your advantage to purchase some adhesive strips for this particular die set, right? Okay, so we're going to stick this mother of pearl here. I'm just trying to get it all the way to the edge. And that's going to lay like so. Then again, I'm just going to flip this over and we're going to trim it. So it looks like this. Now, this is the trick, is that this is actually going to be kind of going into this, and we want to make sure that it doesn't like puff it up too much. And so I'm also going to be putting, this is going to be a porthole, and I did this out of the mother of pearl with the layering circle. So I'm just kind of filling this out to see how it's going to look. And I think it'll be, because I was thinking I might need to trim some of this, but I think it's going to be okay. So let me go ahead and bring in some liquid glue for this particular one. And the reason I'm using the liquid glue on this is because this little section is raised where I have that wave. All right, so we're going to bring this in and just barely touch it to the top of that wave. Okay, so now I'm going to actually put this on my card front, which is going to be thick white, but I'm going to turn this over so I have a clean slate since I'm working with white, and hopefully my fingers are not going to make this really messy. Okay, so now I'm just going to take this and I'm going to bring in my Stampin' Seal Plus. Alrighty. And we're going to set this down on the front of this card base, like so. And then I am going to do dimensionals around here. And I actually I need to cut my mini dimensionals in half just so that these fit. Because I don't like my dimensionals to show. And so I don't like them to be right up against the edge, if that makes sense. And so I have actually like cut some of these already. And so I'm just gonna, if I can get these to pull off, come on. And we're just gonna put these dimensionals around this edge. Like so. And like I said, I do this because I do not like my dimensionals to show. So some people, they're okay with you kind of like if you like look at the card and turn it around, they're okay if you can see that, and that it bothers me. So I cut my like little mini dimensionals in half. So another good thing to always remember is if your dimensionals aren't the size you want them to be, change it. All right, so now let's get the tops of these off. Whoopsie. Oh my goodness. That one does not want to let go. Goodness sakes. That was really holding on. All right, so I want this to be popped up. And we're just going to fit it around. And again, I use the layering circle dies to cut both this and this right here. And I love this, what is it called? Mother of pearl paper, because it just makes this really shiny and pretty. And I don't know if you guys can see it from your end, but from my end, it's really shiny and pretty. Okay, and then I'm going to come in with our matte dots, even though everything else is shiny, because I want to make this look like a porthole. And so I'm going to show you my little trick to try to make this look straight, and it still may not look straight, so we will have to wait and see. All right, so what I do is I get my first one, and I try to like center it in the top. Then I get my second one. Needs a little more putty to come out. And we try to center this one on the bottom. And then from there, I go, it's kind of like north, south, east, and west is basically what I'm doing. I'm doing my directions. And again, because I'm not sitting where I can like lean my head over, I don't know if I'm getting this exact. Like I can already see from your point of view, this one's lower than the one on the right-hand side. And I don't know if I can pull that up and move it, but I'm okay. This is a lot easier when you can kind of lean over more and see it. And then I just fill in between. And like I said, this is kind of what helps me. Oh my gosh, this is driving me crazy. Okay, let's pick it up this way. Whoops, that one's not even centered on the circle. Let's fix that. There. And then this one is just going to come in like right there. And this one's going to come in next. If I can grab it, come on. Okay, so for those of you that are OCD, sorry. I know I probably don't have that real straight. Okay, so then it's going to look like that. And then this is one of the dies. It cuts out this fun little tag, and so I used Versamark ink, and then white embossing powder, and I heated this up. But I want this to have some color on it. So this pumpkin pie dauber that I already used, again, I'm just going to kind of come in and I'm just going to put some color on here just because I think it's going to look cool. Kind of like making it look a little ombre. And I'm going up and I'm being a lot lighter as I go up. So it's putting some color there, but it's not like real dark. It's darker down here at the bottom. And then what you can do is you can grab a Kleenex and then just wipe that off, and then that white comes up. It's kind of like a resistance technique because then your white comes out. Isn't that cute? Cute, cute. Okay. So then I have some, maybe, oh my gosh, see, I had everything in a certain spot and then I moved it. Okay, then I'm coming in with the pale papaya ribbon. And I'm basically just going to take this and cut it in half. And then I'm just going to tie a couple of knots on these ends. I'm not tying a bow, I'm just doing a knot. And then I'm going to be trimming these in a second. But when I tie the knot, I kind see how I've got the label turned this way, and then I'm tying the knot right there. So it's kind of like right in the middle, like so. And then I'm going to do the same thing on this side. And as soon as I'm done with this card, I'm going to show you two other cards that I've done with this set. Where I kind of, one I just used just the set, and then the other one I pulled in one of my favorite stamp sets. So, all right, so it's going to look like that for a hot second. And then we're just going to turn this over, and this time we're going to use regular dimensionals. And I'm going to just put one there. And then I'm going to put one right next to it. And then I'm going to put one kind of centered. And again, over here. And the reason I'm putting so many dimensionals this time is because part of it's going to be on here. And it was really hard to try to figure out like where to position these dimensionals so that it was hitting like right in the middle of these things. That got really tedious, and so I thought I'm just going to put a bunch of them on here, and then that way it'll work really good. All right, so then we're just going to take this and try to get this centered. And I'm trying to center left to right, not so much, oh gosh, that moved right at the last second. Dadgummit, I had that so good, and then it moved. And now it's stuck. There, I think I got it. And then I'm going to come in. And again, I'm going to tighten these. And then I'm just going to snip those. So that they're just down, you know, they're just kind of on the page, but down here. And that just gives that a fun little look. Alrighty, so that is the front of the card. What do you guys think? Isn't it cute? So when Tina Wardell did this, she just did this piece, and then she did like a wood piece here, and then she just did this. And she did like a strip of Daffodil Delight that she put the pumpkin pie on. I wanted to add, you know, I wanted to add this and add some designer series paper because I just thought it would be fun that way. But she kept hers extremely simple, which is really nice. And I just kind of upped that design a little bit. Okay, so for the inside, because it's white, I cut a piece of 4 1/8 by 5 3/8 of the Daffodil Delight. And we're going to stick this on the inside. And I think it's just me, but I like to put a mat on the inside when I'm using the white for some reason. I've stamped them before without doing that, and I'm never quite happy with it. So I just decided that's just a thing that for some reason bugs me. Okay, and then I'm going to take this, and it's got a happy birthday sentiment in this stamp set as well. So we're going to ink that up. Oh, did I get it straight? I think I got it straight. Does it look straight? And then we're going to, again, oh gosh, I just got ink all over my hand. Hold on. That's what happens when you're trying to move fast, when you're trying to do videos and you don't want to make people stay here all night long and watch. So let's just ink this up. Now this time I'm not going to like color this in. I'm just going to ink him up. And we're going to stamp him down there like so. And then that is going to be the inside of our card. Sorry, let me just clean these stamps up before they get stained. Alrighty, and then I'm going to kind of move that way just so I don't lay this down right into that. You have to be careful, especially when you're using white, right? Because sometimes when we stamp off, that ink is still pretty wet and it can get on stuff. Oh, that is not straight. I'm trying not to touch this white with, because I know I've got ink on my hand. Alrighty, so what do you guys think? Isn't it fun? And it's got that mother of pearl paper, which makes it all nice and shiny. And then the wink of Stella. So what do you think of this one? How fun is that? All right, so let me just bring in. So, okay, obviously we just did these. And then I want to show you a couple others that I did. So this one is just using all of the stamps from the stamp set. The only thing I brought in was that, oh shoot, what is that one called? The Stitched with Whimsy dies. And so I cut that out and then I fussy cut around it and then I traced in the lines with different colored ink. And this background is stamped with the waves. And there's that one. And then I did another wave one, but this is my all-time favorite stamp set. Beautiful Moments. I love it. And so I just came in with this one. I did kind of the same thing, except I didn't use the foil this time. I just used Pacific Point. And then here's the clouds that are part of that die. And then I just stamped this and I actually cut around these little girls and added them to this beach scene. So what do you guys think? So is this a set that maybe you can see yourself enjoying and coming up with some fun ideas? I mean, I'm sitting here thinking about, because as most of you know, we just are, today our mini Stampin' Cut machine went on sale for 20% off, and a bunch of our bundles went on sale. And I'm thinking how many of those bundles I can create with this set. And so that's going to kind of be that's what I'm going to kind of be working on, is to see how I can get all of that put together. So these are the two I showed you tonight. And then these were the other two that I just put together, and they actually go together pretty quick. I mean, I think probably the most tedious thing is putting the adhesive strip on the back of these waves, but those go down really easy. And so that's not hard either. So anyway, fun set. If we lived by an ocean, I know, but we can dream, right? Right? We can dream. But yeah, I don't, I agree with that to a certain extent, that living by an ocean would make this more. But I know people who live by an ocean, so I can send that to them. But anyway, I would just really had a fun time designing with this, and looking at some of the ideas that some of the other ladies did with it, and I just think it's a really fun set. And again, this is an early release, and so this is, I believe it's going to be in the new annual catalog, but we have the chance to get it sooner. So this is my suite of the month. And so for any of you that do purchase through me, that are in my monthly club, if you do purchase the entire suite, then I am going to design 10 cards with this set, and I will send you all of the instructions for free. And you'll be the only person that gets those specific instructions. So anyway, guys, I appreciate you guys being here tonight, and I'm so thankful that you're here. If you do watch this on YouTube later, I will have a link in the comments that will take you directly to a shopping cart for those of you that are interested in buying this particular set. And anything else that I used, I will list that as well. So again, guys, I appreciate you guys being here. Make sure you like, subscribe, all the good things on all my social media accounts. And I will be seeing everybody next Tuesday for another fun Tuesday of making cards. So everybody have a great night. I appreciate all of you, and see you next week. Bye.